Welcome to Intuitive Astrology with Molly McCord. Thank you so much for joining me as now we're going to discuss the energy of Jupiter moving into Cancer. This begins June 9th, 2025 as Jupiter moves through all 30 degrees of Cancer until June 30th, 2026. So in the course of just over a full year, Jupiter, the biggest planet in our solar system, will be expanding and evolving the energies of Cancer collectively, as well as Cancer in your natal astrology chart. Jupiter was last in Cancer back in June 2013 until July 2014. So you may want to reference back to what was expanding, growing, and developing for you back in the second half of 2013 and the first half of 2014. Jupiter spends 1 year in each astrology sign on average, and so takes 12 years to move through all 12 signs. So that means it's always a 12-year cycle between Jupiter's last journey in each sign. Now, if you have planets or points in Cancer, this is going to be especially beneficial as Jupiter brings in more grace and ease with these energies and what you want to experience in the Cancer areas of your chart. So let's get into some of the specifics of Jupiter and Cancer for those of you who are new to this information and who want to fully understand it. With Jupiter being the biggest planet in our solar system, Jupiter is the planet that stretches us into new territory, asks us to grow, to see things from a bigger perspective. Jupiter relates to our belief systems, ideologies, experiences, and perspectives that then form our belief systems. So as Jupiter changes signs, there is an entry point here into new ways of working with and feeling into Cancer energies. Jupiter is where we accumulate our spiritual knowledge and wisdom. Jupiter is the great explorer of the cosmos, wanting you to try something different. Just give it a go. Just see what happens. It's the energy of something good can come from every experience. So what's the silver lining and what have you learned along the way? Consider the wisdom you've accumulated and how various experiences have shaped you and formed you into new versions of yourself. Now, Jupiter, because it's about growth, it can also be about exaggeration, amplification, and too much too soon. There can be a lack of control with Jupiter. Sometimes it is much too impulsive, much too eager, and then realizes, oops, I ate too much. I went too far. I said too much. That energy doesn't know how to retract and pull it in at times. So with Jupiter, we do have to be aware of the effects of our energy. Am I coming across too strong? Is all of this too much? Is my energy going out and overwhelming others or a situation or an environment? Jupiter is overwhelm, and even those experiences of the energy being too big or too much can offer us wisdom and understanding around how to approach something differently going forward. And so Jupiter is this huge guidance system of spiritual growth as well as spiritual protection. Jupiter protects us with the high vibrational forces of the universe and allows you to have certain experiences that perhaps keep you safe, independent, autonomous, and connected to the higher realms. Jupiter wants you to also see the advantages that are available that maybe you didn't notice at first. And so Jupiter can come in with some big gifts, big invitations, developments, opportunities, and abundance, but we have to be able to receive these energies as well. So I feel that with the Jupiter energy signature, it's asking you to look at what can I hold? How much can I hold in my energy container? And how do I handle it when it's too much? How do I take care of my energy even as it expands and grows? How do I hold more light and higher frequencies but is it overriding my system? Does it feel like it's lifting me off the ground? And Jupiter can have that lack of grounding as well as a lack of logic at times. Jupiter isn't concerned about the details or the specifics. Jupiter says, just go for it. Take the trip, have the adventure, just try and see where it goes. Now, this energy is naturally associated with Sagittarius, since Jupiter rules Sagittarius. And so you might recognize these qualities in yourself if you have Sagittarian placements, also in friends or people in your world who are Sagittarians. So as Jupiter moves into Cancer on June 9th, there will then be an expansion of the emotional energy that Cancer embodies. Cancer is cardinal water, and it's that desire for movement based on what you're feeling. And Cancer is the energy of growth, nourishment, blossoming, and blooming, a sense of when you feel good about yourself, you're able to move forward with deep trust in who you are and what you need. That healthy Cancer energy will express its feelings and take responsibility for them as well. Cancer is the energy of tenderness, softness, and nurturing. It's often a very giving energy that wants to support others, but has to ensure that it's also supporting itself and not over-giving or over-providing to one's detriment. Cancer energy is connected to family, home, parenting, and where you live. It's associated with where you go at the end of the day to rest and relax, and how you recharge your energy as needed. Cancer is connected to your lineage and genealogy, where you come from, your family's history and memories. It's about your ancestors and what's been passed down through your parents, grandparents, and so on. Cancer is also connected to how we feel and process the energy in the moment. And this can be perceived as moody and emotional at times because of how that Cancer energy will pick up on the subtle signals in the environment. We'll pick up when someone's having a bad day or when another person is showing up with maybe a lot of anger or destructive energy. This Jupiter in Cancer is going to make all of us tune in to these subtle vibrations more often and more frequently. There's also going to be an increase in emotional energy. The Cancer energy is internal. It's connected to what you are feeling and sensing that maybe you don't always communicate or share with another. And so there can be the need for more privacy, solitude, and time to yourself to determine what you're feeling or what you are sensing. The Cancer energy can be quite open to the environment and other people, open to sharing, and maybe unconsciously taking on a lot of those energies. The Cancer energy can absorb. It absorbs in what others are feeling out of a sense of empathy, support, or caring. And then there can be this realization that it's draining, that what you have absorbed or taken on is affecting you, it's sinking your energy, or it's all too much. So part of the Cancer dance is in establishing those healthy boundaries where you're able to relate to others as needed when it's good for your energy, but you're then able to honor the boundaries of pulling back, shutting down, and stepping away if something is too much or it's not an energy you want to be a part of. So yes, that Cancer energy can be quite open and then it can be quite closed. And this is part of the inconsistency here of Cancer that can be hard for others to understand. But Cancer is ruled by the moon. And so it's designed to ebb and flow. It's designed to pick up on all the different frequencies that exist and to tune into what is being unsaid in the moment. Now, if you have Cancer planets and placements in your chart, then you are aware of this in yourself, and you're aware too perhaps of how that energy will ebb and flow and be inconsistent. With Jupiter coming in, Jupiter is going to help with the growth, healing, and deeper wisdom of anything that emotional body has not been able to release or figure out. And that's because Cancer can be holding on to memories of past experiences. It can be carrying energy imprints, emotional frequencies, and a deep remembrance of what was. And here comes Jupiter to say it's time to grow with this, to move the energy forward, and to look at where you're ready to welcome in perhaps new feelings or understandings that you didn't connect with before. Jupiter is very supportive here in Cancer in allowing you to feel your truth, to feel into the wisdom that you're holding and carrying, but to not spin in it or circle in it. And so this is important to acknowledge because Cancer is not only that cardinal water sign that feels the need to move forward and grow, but Cancer is also the first water sign in the zodiac that is how we establish emotional connections with others, how we feel that we can trust other people with our needs, with who we are, with what is important to us. And so this immediately goes into your relationship with your mother. And Cancer is connected to the wisdom of the feminine, specifically the womb, the breasts, holding a child during pregnancy, that deep connection between mother and child that develops throughout the pregnancy. And then as the child is birthed and born and becomes its own independent entity, the umbilical cord is cut. This is the first experience of disconnection from the mother where sovereignty is established. And yet the baby, the newborn, still needs that love and care from the mother. And biologically, we know this as needing milk from the mother's breasts, needing the warmth and protection of being up against the mother's body and skin, being cared for and protected against all the elements in the world that now that child is exposed to and a part of. And so you can see how Cancer is where we unconsciously feel safe in the world, connected and attached to a literal mother who cares for us and provides our primal needs at birth. And then as the baby grows and develops, it still needs that nurturing caretaking. It still needs connection and attachment. And those are key words here with Cancer. And part of the connection, of course, is from the fact that the child has to disconnect from the safety of the mother. So then how do you create connections that are good and healthy for the child or for any individual while honoring their separate needs? And so this is part of the giving and receiving dynamic of Cancer energy. It's also part of our primal experiences of birth and how we often don't remember our own birthing experiences, but this sets the imprint of how we feel welcomed into the world, nurtured, cared for, and tended to. And then as we grow up, how those connections continue to unfold where we feel safe and supported with our evolving needs. Cancer is the energy of our unconscious emotional self, as well as our unconscious emotional childhood. That there were experiences you had in childhood that you might not specifically remember in the moment, but they were an imprint on you. They were an experience, and you were in some kind of perhaps survival mode or just doing what you needed to do at that young age because it's how your family was set up. It's how you learned to exist within the family dynamic. And so you learned how to interact with your mom or your dad or your siblings. You learned when dinner time was and how to behave at dinner. You learned what to do maybe when you fell and hurt your knee, or you did well in school and you wanted others to recognize you and celebrate you. The Cancer imprints are also very subjective, where you were learning and experiencing your family as it was, and that's all you knew. There was no contrast, perhaps. You didn't know how other families operated or what they did at dinner time or how they celebrated maybe certain holidays or birthdays. All you knew was your own immediate experience. These are all Cancer themes. And these are all energies that we carry with us as we evolve and get older and we become more of who we are. Now, depending on where Cancer is in your chart is where these energies come out and are expressed. And it's also where you can certainly make them more conscious and contribute to your self-awareness. So as Jupiter comes into Cancer here, that's what we are meant to do. And what's fascinating about this particular Jupiter in Cancer transit is that it is going to pick up on what you were already working through and processing since Mars was retrograde in Cancer back in early 2025. We talked a lot about that with Mars spending about 3.5 months in Cancer between 17 to 29 degrees of Cancer, and was stirring up these themes for you to understand and see in yourself. That Mars in Cancer was the trigger around something that you were ready to more fully process, experience, and move through. And here comes this Jupiter in Cancer, which is going to show you the new ways ahead, the new approaches, the new connection styles that maybe you're ready for. As I say connection styles, I'm also meaning attachment styles, which is also Cancer energy. So if you had anxious attachment or avoidant attachment, perhaps you're ready to try more of a secure attachment or to move into a new way of approaching emotional dynamics. So these are some of the themes of Jupiter in Cancer, where it's actually pulling on our unconscious imprints from early on in our life and from our parents, our family, and our siblings to look at, is this serving me now? Is this truly a part of what I'm feeling and what I want to feel? Or do I want this to shift and evolve? Because Jupiter will be so happy to support you with that and to show you new ways of owning these Cancer themes. Jupiter in Cancer is going to open up more of our hearts and allow us to access more empathy for others, to be more understanding, supportive, even better listeners. Jupiter in Cancer will also reveal more of your intuitive messages and what you've been sensing that maybe you weren't sure how to explain or even understand, but Jupiter will bring in the bigger understandings that the Cancer energy has been holding. This can certainly amplify emotions on the planet, being bigger, more dramatic, more pronounced. That can be one of the overexpansions of Jupiter in Cancer. But this energy can move you forward out of anything in the past, from past versions of yourself, from past experiences, memories, old stories, old narratives. It can move you forward, which is one thing that Jupiter loves. So if you have anything coming up that's pulling you into a previous version of yourself or a previous timeline, understand that what Jupiter wants you to do is to look at what you are meant to learn. How are you growing through this experience? And perhaps you're looking at it with new eyes or new self-awareness that connects you to a truth you didn't realize before, or a more mature worldly truth that you're able to see now. Now in your chart, wherever you have Cancer from 0 to 29 degrees by house or houses, this is where Jupiter comes through and brings in his big blessings, where more arrives and is supportive. So this can be more abundance, invitations, opportunities, feel-good experiences. This can bring in more interactions with family, reunions, gatherings, fun events. This can also bring in a desire to look at what you want to shift or change in your own home environment. So maybe you're ready to redecorate or try some new recipes. There can be a lot of comfort foods with Jupiter in Cancer. Maybe you want to have more gatherings in your home and invite people over. Maybe you're ready to look at other homes, new properties, new places to live, and to settle on a new place that will be a new home base and also create a new foundation for your life. Cancer is our emotional foundation. And so some people might feel that they have this renewal in their emotional foundation in a sense of self. This can enhance how you trust what you need, as well as trusting your gut instincts, without questioning them, diminishing them, or holding back who you are and what you need. Jupiter in Cancer is ready to bring new life to parts of yourself and parts of your world that maybe have been undernourished, that you have ignored or you haven't had time for. This is enhancing your self-care, prioritizing what feels good for you, and ensuring that you're not only doing everything for everyone, but you're making time for what feels good for you and what is essential to your well-being. This energy is very personal and private, and it's by being in your own space that you're also more receptive. Jupiter in Cancer is very receptive, so you're going to probably get some new understandings of what will support you now and what will be beneficial for your energy. This transit is a good time to pour into yourself, to tap into what your energy container needs, and to powerfully call it in. Jupiter in Cancer also needs to stay aware of boundaries, limitations, and being too emotionally impulsive. So it will be essential to have ways to say no and step back from anything that you really don't want to be a part of. I mean, think about how we can be pulled into things based on other people's empathy, or we're really sensing that they need us, but it's from a very low vibrational place, a very needy place. Like it's people who always need a caretaker or always need someone to do things for them. This is where you're going to have to monitor how you participate in a dynamic that you sense has become unhealthy or is not good for you. This is where we have to monitor, I'm over giving here. It's not supporting either of us. I need to establish new loving boundaries that are rooted in self-empowerment and kindness to both of us or to all involved. And it's that intention that is always good for the Cancer energies. Is this from a place of loving kindness? Because then I'm able to be in that energy frequency, honoring what I need and honoring what they need, but also trusting the energy that I'm feeling in this experience. So this is definitely going to support trusting yourself, trusting what you're feeling, and trusting what is necessary for you that maybe you're realizing for the first time in your life. So this is just a simple overview here of the Jupiter in Cancer themes that I wanted to offer you. We will keep talking about Jupiter in Cancer, of course, since it will be moving through this sign for just over 12 months. But I hope this gives you a good awareness around what to welcome into your experience, as well as what you can expect to develop, flourish, and grow as Jupiter expands these Cancer energies. If you would like to learn more about your astrology chart, please check out my YouTube channel where I have playlists filled with all kinds of topics, including more about your moon sign and the energies to look at in your chart that might be cardinal, fixed, or mutable signs. So please check out the playlist. I believe it's called Start Here, and it goes through the basics of a chart, and it includes more imprints and energy around your moon sign, which is very important here because Cancer is ruled by the moon, and there's an activation of what you hold in your own moon and lunar energy. As always, thank you so much for joining me. I'll be back every Monday and Wednesday for a new podcast episode. You can find all of my current astrology programs and courses at mollymccord.online if you would like to learn even more about your chart and your energy. So please check that out. You'll find a ton of different possibilities, and I hope one of them supports you at this time. So wishing you a beautiful journey on your day, and I'll be back here soon as we continue our astrological conversation.